In the heart of the African continent, the balance between life and death is decided in seconds. Here, dawn doesn't just bring light, it brings the beginning of a war. Every sound in the distance may be a warning, or the last thing someone will ever hear. Between shadows and dust, hunters prowl in silence. They know no mercy. They move with precision. Strike with fury and leave silence in their wake. Some hunt in packs with tactics that resemble organized armies. Others rely solely on brute force, crushing everything that dares to cross their path. There are those who wait motionless in murky waters, biding their time for the perfect instant. And when they attack, the result is devastating. In this land, even the giant must fear. The wild pardons neither size nor strength, only cunning and instinct. The rivers hide monsters that kill in seconds. The plains echo with roars that make the ground tremble. And even the dust rising on the horizon can herald death. The rules are simple: hunt or be hunted. Here, power isn't measured in words, but in sharp fangs, crushing jaws, and bodies shaped to kill. Blood, fear, and instinct are the true language of this land. Among dense forests, treacherous rivers, and open savannas, a deadly elite reigns. Predators and colossi that defy everything, even fate itself. They don't fight merely for survival. They fight for dominion. And it is here, in the untamed heart of Africa, that the most lethal creatures on the planet show who truly commands the cycle of life. The most deadly animals of Africa, the brutal side of a wild paradise. The hot wind blows across the golden plains. Dust rises, and the air vibrates with a deep, distant sound. It is the sound of a roar. A warning, a reminder of who rules these lands. The lion's roar is one of the most feared forces in the African savanna. It can be heard up to 8 kilometers away. An organic thunder that rolls across the horizon, proclaiming territory, power, and death. But what makes this predator truly deadly is not only its strength, but its precision. The lion is the only great cat that hunts in groups. Turning the savannah into a tactical battlefield. While the females glide silently through the tall grass, the males patrol the surroundings. Marking territory with urine and with the unmistakable sound of their roars. When prey is spotted, there is no improvisation. There is strategy. A coordinated, calculated attack that demands patience and perfect timing. The lionesses approach against the wind, reducing the risk of being detected. They spread in a semicircle, slowly surrounding wildebeest zebras or buffalo that graze unsuspectingly. And then, at the precise instant, the ambush happens. A leap, claws sharp as blades sinking into flesh. And the combined force of more than 200 kilograms driving the victim to the ground. The prey has no time to react. In seconds, the struggle ends in dust, screams, and silence. But make no mistake, the hunt is only part of the lion's power. The true terror it inspires lies in its territorial nature and its absolute dominance over everything around it. An adult male can face and kill other predators. Jackals, leopards, even hyenas, merely to reaffirm his supremacy. Its body is a living weapon, jaws capable of exerting more than 650 pounds of pressure. Teeth that tear through muscle and bone with ease, and paws that can bring down an antelope with a single blow. And even when it's not hunting, the lion kills. Intruders, competitors, or the cubs of other males, all are potential targets. The savannah is the realm of the strong, and he is king not by title, but by conquest. The mane, a symbol of power and maturity, is also armor. Every scar hidden beneath the golden hairs marks a battle won. When a group of lionesses and males unites to defend territory, the result is brutal. Hyenas, their greatest rivals, learn the meaning of fear early. In coordinated attacks, lions can decimate an entire clan. carving a path with claws and teeth, tearing and rending without hesitation. There is no mercy, only instinct. And in that instinct, the lion rules with an iron hand and sharpened fangs. But there is something even more terrifying than the attack itself. The silence that follows. A field veiled in dust, the metallic smell of blood in the air, and the predator's shadow retreating under the setting sun. This is how the cycle of death repeats across the African plains. Relentless, majestic, inevitable. The lion is not merely a hunter. It is the personification of power. A force molded by earth, heat, and time. Every roar echoes as a reminder of what it means to rule, and of the price paid for defying the king. When the king's roar falls silent and the afternoon heat lies heavy over the savannah, other voices begin to rise on the horizon. Shrill, almost human laughter tears the air like a warning that darkness is near. The sun disappears and the landscape changes hands. The night belongs to them. Hyenas emerge from the shadows with eyes shining and bodies taut, ready to occupy the space left by the giants of the day. And if anything defines this animal, it is audacity. They do not fear the lion, they challenge him. Where there is blood and carcass, there is a hyena. And where there is a hyena, there is conflict. These misunderstood creatures, often seen merely as thieves of leftovers, are in fact relentless predators and nocturnal strategists. They hunt in organized groups called clans, which can number in the dozens, all following a strict hierarchy commanded by dominant females. Every movement is coordinated, every attack born of subtle communication through sounds, scents and glances. When prey is isolated, a wounded wildebeest, a distracted zebra, or even a young buffalo, the hunt becomes a spectacle of endurance and brutality. Surrounded by dozens of hungry mouths, the victim tries to flee, but hyenas are tireless. They advance in relays, biting, tearing, bleeding the enemy until the body gives out. It is death by exhaustion. And when the first hyena sinks its teeth in, the rest of the clan throws itself upon the body in a wild frenzy, where the power of their jaws is revealed in full. The bite of a spotted hyena is among the most powerful in the animal kingdom, capable of crushing bones like twigs. With pressure exceeding 1,000 pounds per square inch, it pulverizes everything it finds. skulls, ribs, vertebrae. Nothing escapes. Its digestive system is so efficient that it consumes bones, hooves, and even skin. Where a lion leaves scraps, the hyena turns everything to dust. It is both cleaner and killer of the savannah, combining the role of hunter and scavenger in a single body of pure survival. But the hyena's true power lies in its unity. No other African predator confronts lions on equal footing. In large groups, they challenge the king without hesitation, contesting carcasses, territories, and even live prey. The battlefield is the same, the smell of blood is the same, but the strategy changes. While the lion relies on brute strength, hyenas rely on persistence. They can wait for hours, circling silently around a carcass guarded by a solitary male until he tires. And when that happens, the clan advances in a deafening wave, screaming, biting, and attacking in all directions. Few can withstand it. These battles between lions and hyenas are more than simple disputes over food. They are territorial wars, testaments to power and instinct. Each confrontation etches wounds into the savannah, and each victory is temporary. When the sun rises again, dust covers the marks of the night, but the echoes remain. The laughter of hyenas, so often mistaken for humor, is the sound of death celebrated. A somber reminder that in Africa, even laughter can mean the end. And so, while the king rests and vultures still search for what is left, the hyenas vanish into the half-light. Sated and triumphant, leaving behind only bones and the heavy silence of a night won. When the sun climbs the horizon again and the savannah awakens, another kind of predator lies in wait. One that doesn't need to run, or roar, or dispute territory in groups. Its strength lies in silence, patience, and the art of waiting. In the rivers and swamps of Africa where life comes to drink, the continent's oldest assassin reigns, the Nile crocodile. It doesn't need to display power. It is power. Its presence turns riverbanks into invisible traps, where the water itself becomes a minefield. Motionless, it blends with driftwood among shimmering reflections. Nothing betrays its presence except the eyes peering above the surface, calculating every movement around it. It can remain utterly still for hours, its heart beating slowly, as if time obeyed it. until, in a single second, everything changes. A zebra steps forward to drink, a wildebeest lowers its muzzle, a bird touches the water, and then hell opens. The attack is so fast, the victim's brain barely has time to react. An explosion of water, the dry crack of jaws, and the body vanishes beneath the current. The Nile crocodile is one of the largest and most dangerous predators on Earth. It can exceed 6 meters in length and weigh nearly a ton. Its bite exerts more than 5,000 pounds of pressure, stronger than that of any other land animal. No bone is strong enough, no prey fast enough. Once inside its jaws, there is no escape. It spins violently in a movement known as the death roll, shredding flesh and bone in a spiral of destruction. This spin is not just brutal, it is methodical. It tears off limbs, disorients the prey, and drags it to the depths, where oxygen becomes the enemy. In the rivers of the Nile, fear has a sound: silence. There is no warning, no shadow, no alert. Only the golden shimmer of the water and the cold gaze of a predator that survived the extinction of the dinosaurs. It is a living fossil, a fragment of an age when monsters ruled the earth, and it still rules. Crocodiles do not kill for immediate need, they stockpile. They drag victims to underwater caves, entangle bodies among roots, and wait for decomposition to begin. They are predators and jailers, absolute lords of Africa's rivers. But what truly makes them deadly is not just physical strength, but the moment they choose to strike. While lions depend on sight and hyenas on coordination, the crocodile relies on someone else's mistake. It does not chase, it waits. It does not fight, it ambushes. Its advantage is control. It controls the scene, the timing, and the victim's very death. In regions like the Okavango Delta and the Mara River, it is the invisible terror that haunts the great migrations. When thousands of wildebeest and zebras cross the turbid waters, each step can be the last. Amid confusion, hooves tangle, bodies collide, and it is in this chaos that the crocodile acts. An attack from below, a precise bite to the jugular, and the river runs red. It is a silent massacre, as natural as it is inevitable. At nightfall, the waters seem calm again. The waves dissipate, the sound of insects takes over, and no one imagines what rests beneath the surface. The crocodile remains there, motionless, digestion slow, gaze unshaken. It is in no hurry. In the savannah, time works in its favor. It is as patient as death and just as constant. The waters that hide the crocodiles also shelter another giant. One that seems harmless at first glance, but carries in its veins Africa's most unpredictable fury. Beneath the tranquil surface of rivers and lakes, the hippopotamus reigns as a colossus of flesh and power. It's easy to be deceived by its placid eyes and rounded body, but behind that almost docile appearance is one of the most aggressive and feared animals on the continent. Where it steps, even crocodiles give way. By day, the hippo prefers the calm of shallow waters. There it spends hours submerged, with only nostrils and eyes above the surface, like silent sentinels. It appears at peace, but a wrong approach is enough to turn the river into a battlefield. Boats, buffalo, crocodiles, anything that ventures across its territory can become a target. And when the hippo attacks, the fury is devastating. With jaws that open nearly 180 degrees, it exposes tusks more than half a meter long, sharp as blades, capable of puncturing a boat's hull and cleaving a human body in two with a single strike. Its bite exerts more than 2,000 pounds of force, brute power that rivals carnivorous predators, even though it is a herbivore. But the hippo does not kill from hunger. It kills for territory, for instinct, and often from pure impulse. It is a guardian of the waters, a colossus that does not tolerate intruders. At night, when the heat eases and the savanna takes on the scent of moisture, it leaves the river. It emerges from the banks like a walking mountain, following trails carved by the weight of its own steps. It moves in silence, yet destroys everything in its path. Shrubs, trunks, even small boats left on the shore. And if anyone stands there, between it and the river, the outcome is almost always fatal. It does not retreat, does not warn, it only advances. Despite its colossal size, up to 3.5 tons, the hippo is surprisingly fast. It can reach speeds of 40 kilometers per hour on land and swim with the agility of an aquatic predator. When it senses a threat, the reaction is instant. Males enter a frenzy, opening their mouths in a display of power and blasting water and air through their nostrils. The sound echoes along the banks like hollow thunder, and the spectacle is a warning. This territory has an owner. But the real danger lies in its unpredictability. While lions attack out of need and crocodiles out of opportunity, the hippo attacks on impulse. It is driven by a temperament that swings between calm and destruction, and it is this instability that makes it deadly. Every year, hundreds of people lose their lives in confrontations with these giants. Fishermen, travelers, and villagers who come too close to the waters where they sleep or guard their young. No other African mammal kills as many humans as the hippopotamus. Nature shaped it to dominate both land and water. Its thick skin, nearly 5 centimeters, acts like natural armor. Its tusks grow constantly, honing one against the other with the simple act of closing its mouth. And its body, though herbivorous, was made to endure, to fight, and to win. It is an ancestral warrior, molded by mud and blood. When night falls and the river returns to silence, the hippo returns to the water, becoming part of the darkness. Only the eyes and the deep sound of its breathing betray its presence. It seems calm once more, as if nothing had happened. But in Africa, silence is never a sign of peace. It is only the prelude to the next storm. Across the vast golden plains of Africa, there is a sound that makes even the boldest predators hesitate. The heavy thunder of an African buffalo on the march. It is not the fastest, nor the largest, nor the fiercest at first glance. But it is, without doubt, one of the most feared. Among hunters and local inhabitants, its name is whispered with respect and fear. They call it the Black Death. A nickname not born by chance, but from generations who have seen what happens when someone dares to underestimate it. The African buffalo is a giant of muscle and fury. Up to 900 kilograms of pure strength, its head crowned by a pair of horns that resemble weapons of war. Unlike other savanna herbivores, it does not flee easily. It is an animal that thinks, observes, and if provoked, counterattacks with brutality. Its body is like a living rampart, thick neck, broad shoulders, and a gaze that betrays a suspicious, resentful nature. When threatened, it does not simply escape. It hunts the aggressor. And once it decides to advance, nothing stops it. A solitary lion rarely dares face it. Even in groups, lions risk their lives with every charge. Buffalo form cohesive herds, driven by an instinct for collective protection. When one is attacked, the entire group turns to its defense. Roars of fury mix with deep snorts, and the savannah becomes a battlefield. Hundreds of massive bodies charge together, throwing up clouds of dust and confronting even Africa's greatest predators. A single horn strike can hurl a lion meters away. And a trampling is enough to crush bones and end any dispute. But the buffalo's brutality is not limited to hunts. It is one of the few animals capable of attacking without apparent provocation. Experienced hunters fear it more than any other because it never forgets. There are accounts of wounded buffalo hiding in the brush, only to ambush those who tried to kill them. They wait in silence, camouflaged in dense vegetation, and when the enemy approaches, they charge with a fury that almost seems human. Vengeful, precise, merciless. The impact of a charge is like that of a car at high speed. Horns curved upward, sharp points, a mass in motion, everything converges on a single objective: destroy. And unlike other herbivores, the buffalo rarely retreats after the first blow. It returns, tramples, gores, and destroys until it is sure the danger is eliminated. Its fury is methodical, almost cold. It is survival instinct taken to the extreme. Across the prairies, the scene is common. Lions circling a herd, analyzing, choosing a target. But a mistaken selection can turn hunters into prey. When the herd senses the attack, the savannah trembles. A sea of dark bodies moves like a wave of destruction, swallowing whatever lies in its path. There is not enough courage to withstand that avalanche. Even the king of felines recognizes when it is time to retreat. Even nature seems to respect the buffalo. It walks with head lowered, but the world parts to let it pass. Where it treads, the grass bows. Where it bellows, silence takes hold. It is a reminder that in Africa, danger does not always come with claws or fangs. Sometimes it comes with hooves, horns, and the gaze of one who does not fear death. In the heart of the savannah, when wind carries the damp scent of distant rains, a colossal shadow moves on the horizon. The ground trembles, branches snap, birds lift into the air in silence. The true titan of Africa has arrived, the elephant. No other land animal bears so much strength, power, and grandeur. It is the symbol of African greatness, but also a brutal reminder that size and serenity do not mean safety. Behind calm eyes and a heavy gait lies a force that, once awakened, becomes pure destruction. The African elephant is the largest terrestrial animal on the planet. Reaching over 4 meters in height and weighing up to 7 tons. A colossus capable of knocking down entire trees with a single push and carrying logs that would crush any other living being. But what makes it truly deadly is not only its physical strength, it is its intelligence and unpredictable temper. It does not attack without cause, but when it decides to, nothing can stop it. Not lions, not rhinos, not even armed humans. Elephants live in family groups led by a matriarch, an experienced female who guides the herd with wisdom and memory. She knows every river, every tree, and every path across the savannah. But she also remembers dangers, wounds, and enemies. And that memory is a weapon. Elephants never forget. There are records of entire herds returning to villages years later to destroy them, as if avenging past attacks. They tear down fences, crush crops, flip vehicles, and reduce homes to debris. When an elephant becomes enraged, the world around it becomes too small to contain it. Its trunk, which seems like a delicate instrument, is actually a tool of precision and brute force. With more than 40,000 muscles, it can strip bark from a tree, crush a skull, or lift a human body with ease. And when combined with the tusks, long teeth of ivory that can exceed 3 meters, it becomes a lethal weapon. In territorial disputes, adult males in must face off in epic battles. The charges are violent, the impacts reverberate like thunder, and often one does not rise again. Despite the peaceful image many hold, the elephant is responsible for hundreds of deaths every year in Africa. Confrontations with humans occur when villages expand over their migratory routes. At night, they invade fields in search of food, and any attempt to drive them away can end in tragedy. A single wrong move, a shout, a flashlight, and the reaction comes like a storm. The animal rears, emits a bellow that shakes the air, and advances. Each step is an earthquake. Trees split, vehicles flip, and whatever lies in the way simply disappears. But in the savannah, the elephant also commands respect from predators. Lions rarely try to hunt them, and when they do, it is out of pure necessity and with large coalitions. Even then, a single swing of the trunk can launch a lion into the air, and a stomp is enough to turn it to dust. Even crocodiles avoid approaching when an elephant crosses a river. They know one wrong move could be the end. The elephant's strength comes with a presence that dominates the environment. Its simple walking calves, trails, shapes terrain, opens clearings, and transforms the landscape. It is an involuntary architect of the savannah, a builder and destroyer in equal measure. Where it passes, nature bows. Where it angers, nature breaks. Night falls over the savannah, and with it comes silence. A different silence, tense, sharp, almost tangible. The stars blaze overhead, but among the shadows, something moves with purpose, with dangerous grace. No sound of footsteps, no audible breath. Only the sensation that something is there, watching. And before the heart realizes, it is already too late. The hunter of shadows is born, the leopard. Among all Africa's great predators, it is the most enigmatic. Solitary, patient and lethal, the leopard masters the art of invisibility. While the lion announces itself with roars and the hyena with macabre laughter, the leopard hunts in absolute silence. It needs no flourish, only a mistake. A split second when its prey relaxes, lowers its guard, or simply believes itself safe. In that instant, it acts. Its body is a perfect blend of strength and agility. Muscles defined beneath a golden mantle, dotted with dark rosettes. Capable of propelling leaps of more than 6 meters in a single bound. Its jaws are strong enough to snap a gazelle's neck with one bite. And its retractable claws, sharp as razors, are tools of surgical precision. But what truly sets it apart is its capacity to adapt. The leopard survives where others fail. On savannas, in forests, in mountains, even on the edges of human villages. It is the master of survival, the invisible predator that reigns where no one else dares to hunt. Hunting, for it, is a dance between patience and the perfect instant. It moves slowly, close to the ground, every muscle controlled, every step calculated. It watches, waits, and when the moment comes, it explodes into speed. In seconds, the attack is complete. No scream echoes, no prolonged struggle. Only the dry thud of a fall and the return of silence. It does not hunt for pleasure, but with surgical efficiency. It kills to live, and lives because it kills to perfection. But perhaps the leopard's most impressive trait is its command of the heights. It is the only great cat capable of carrying prey heavier than itself into the treetops. There, on the branches, it turns the air into a natural vault. No lion, no hyena, no thief dares challenge its strategy. While the rest of the savannah disputes carcasses on the ground, it dines above, observing everything and everyone. Its strength is silent, its fury contained. And that is precisely what makes it so deadly. A leopard is rarely seen before it attacks. To its victims, it is the ghost of the night. And even when noticed, it is already too late. It does not need to sprint long distances or roar to intimidate. One leap, one bite, and fate is sealed. Among humans, some fear it, some admire it, and some underestimate it. But those who underestimate it rarely have time to learn from the mistake. It is the predator that masters the unexpected. Able to adapt to the Congo's humid forests, the Sahara's scorching rocks, or the edges of African villages. Where there is shadow, the leopard may be. Where there is silence, it may be listening. In the hierarchy of Africa's killers, it needs no throne. The darkness is enough. While the king roars and hyenas scream, The leopard merely watches, waits and kills. No witnesses, no noise, no error. It is the invisible thread that stitches together the African night, the golden flicker that vanishes among leaves, the lethal touch that turns silence into death. When the sun lies down on the horizon and the savannah sinks into golden tones, a new kind of hunter awakens. Not the solitary ones of the trees, nor the kings of territory. What rises now is the strength of collectivity, organized chaos, a disciplined pack. They do not roar, do not bellow, do not announce their arrival. They move as a single creature, guided by precise instinct and a near military loyalty. They are the African wild dogs, the most efficient hunters on the continent. At first glance, they may not inspire the fear of a lion or the imposing presence of an elephant. But beneath that coat mottled in black, white and gold lies a collective intelligence that challenges any predator. In cohesive packs of up to 40 individuals, they form a society where each member has a defined role. There are the scouts, who advance in silence, the flankers, who encircle the prey, and the finishers, who deliver the final strike. There is no disorder, only synchronicity. The wild dog's hunt is a work of precision. They run together, switching positions, wearing the victim down until the body gives out. Their prey rarely escapes. While lions fail in more than half their attempts, these hunters boast a success rate above 80%. No other land predator in Africa matches such efficiency. It is not brute force, it is strategy, communication, and group instinct. When they choose the target, hell begins in silence. They move in a wide fan, guided by scent and keen eyesight. The target is isolated, usually the weakest, the youngest, or the one that strays too far from the herd. Then the chase begins. The gallop is tireless, the rhythm constant. They run for kilometers under scorching heat, rotating leaders so the pack doesn't exhaust itself. The prey tries to escape, but time is the enemy. Slowly, it yields. And when it falls, the outcome is quick, brutal, and inevitable. The jaws of African wild dogs may not be the most powerful in the savannah, but their coordination is what makes them lethal. Each bites in strategic points, tearing tendons, immobilizing the target. In minutes, the body comes apart beneath dozens of teeth and pounding paws. It is a spectacle of cruelty and efficiency that few human eyes witness and fewer still forget. But the pack does not live on blood alone. Among them, there is a rare harmony in the animal kingdom. They feed pups and elders first, share every piece of the kill, and protect one another to the death. When one is injured, the whole group adapts, slowing to keep pace. This absolute loyalty is their greatest strength, and the reason they have survived amid larger, stronger predators. Among the thick shadows of thorny shrubs and the dry dust of the plains, an imposing figure emerges in silence. There is no roar, no claws, no sharp teeth, only a body of stone that moves with the force of a tank and the temper of a storm about to break. This is the black rhinoceros, one of Africa's most powerful and unpredictable creatures. A colossus of more than a ton of concentrated muscle and fury, forged for confrontation and chaos. Its thick skin, marked by scars and cracks, looks like the hide of an ancient warrior. Head low, two curved horns pointing forward, it issues a silent warning: do not approach. And still, many do, and almost always regret it. The black rhinoceros is an animal of explosive temperament, known to attack first and understand later. When something arouses its suspicion, it becomes a bolt of destruction. Charging with blind fury, capable of flipping vehicles, splitting trunks, and crushing anything that moves in its path. Despite its name, its true coloration ranges from grey to brown, a result of dust coating its body. What differentiates it from the white rhinoceros is not only the smaller size, but the attitude. While its more placid cousin prefers to avoid confrontation, the black rhino lives in a constant state of alert. Its ears swivel like radars, picking up every sound, and its keen sense of smell compensates for limited vision. It is common for it to attack shadows, scents, or simple noises carried by the wind. An instinctive reflex of defense that in seconds can turn into tragedy. When it decides to charge, the impact is apocalyptic. It accelerates like a bull, reaching up to 50 kilometers per hour in seconds. And strikes with its horns as if they were living lances. A single blow can pierce a buffalo's body, rip open a lion's belly, or crush a metal jeep. And most frightening of all, even when wounded, the rhinoceros rarely retreats. Pain only makes it more aggressive, more determined. It is the kind of animal that fights to its last breath, and its enemy realizes the mistake only when already being dragged across the ground. In the savannah, it is a loner. It prefers isolation, roaming silently through territories it knows precisely. It is lord of dry ground, of twisted acacias and mud wallows, where it cools itself under the merciless sun. The black rhinoceros is the living portrait of contradiction. A herbivore that carries the fury of a carnivore, a symbol of strength surrounded by fear. It does not hunt, but it is as deadly as any predator. Its mere presence changes the landscape. Animals move away, the air seems heavier, and even the silence grows weightier. The African savanna is the stage where strength, intelligence, and fury meet in their purest form. Every creature here, from the lion's roar to the leopard's lethal silence, carries the power to shape the fate of those who dare cross its path. They are the essence of the wild, the living definition of power and respect. On a continent where the weak do not survive and the strong never rest, these giants are not just animals, they are forces of nature. And in the immensity of Africa, each one is a reminder that the beauty of wildlife is directly tied to the danger that sustains it.